But he shared those experiences with Leighton, who played so beautifully against Todd Martin in Boston and produced one of the biggest upsets of the year in Davis Cup. He's Fitzy, he's from your part of the world, from South Australia. Marat Safin, just 19 years of age, serving in the opening game from the northern end.
15.
Now the Russian knows how to win the crowd over. Little tension early on is to be expected. This is only Marat's second match on grass.
13.
But he will win a lot of points off that first serve. That is probably his biggest weapon. He likes to stay back. You can see there's no intention so far of following that serve into the net.
First serve.
And that time at the body, it was just overpowering Hewitt. One thing's for sure, he will mix up the direction of the serve, but the power, I think, will remain the same. 40-15.
Game Russia, first game.
And Russia leads 1-0 in the opening set. And this is a fiery grass court. More bounce than Wimbledon, more speed off the court. A traditional Australian grass court prepared by Murray McFarlane, who's been the curator at White City for quite a number of years, prepared the Memorial Drive court against the Czech Republic and the Mildura court. Leighton Hewitt serving.
Love.
Totally different style of play from Leighton. Remaining on the baseline, he wants to wear his opponent down. He said he thought he needs to use the angles.
For serve.
Move his taller opponent around, make him feel uncomfortable. Safin 1.94 metres, 6'4".
So I think it's plain to see, John, that there won't be a lot of long rallies in this match. Safin will be looking to finish the point as quickly as he can. Once he gets set and he gets a good swing at a ground stroke, he'll go for a winner.
Overwhelming power there on the return of serve.
15-30.
And that's unusual for Hewitt. You don't see too many double faults from him. His second serve is very reliable under pressure, but I think just on the back foot a little bit here early because of the power coming from the Safin racket. 2 break points.
For serve.
And even though he got a deep first serve right into the corner, Safin got it back deep, and maybe Leighton a little bit slow to react and chose to half volley off the baseline where the court is quite worn. Maybe the bounce deviated a little bit, came off the frame. 2-love. Russia with a break.
Love 15.
Goodness, that missed by about 15 feet, that first serve.
That was a different postcode.
15 all.
It's not usual that you see players hit cold winners from the back of the court so easily. You need to be able to generate an incredible amount of speed to do that. Hit it past a quick player like Hewitt. He didn't even have a chance to get his racket on the ball there.
There, Safin a little bit lazy, not moving back to the bounce of the ball, and this is a little bit of inexperience on grass, on the fast, on the hard courts played on in the US or at the Australian Open, where you have a perfect bounce. It's far more likely to get away with half volleying. First time Leighton's been able to implement his strategy of keeping the ball in play and making his taller and less mobile opponent move. Produced the error and 2 break-back points for Australia. And there's difficulty for the Russian. Game is back on serve, 2-1.
Except at all when he tried to throw in the serve and volley, and he knew as soon as he made an attempt at the volley that it was a mistake. But he looked uncomfortable, didn't he?
Didn't know what he was doing that close to the net. It wasn't time to shake hands.
You had to serve down 1-2. Important for Hewitt to keep his head down, which he does so well. It's one of his strengths to maintain the pressure throughout this match, because I feel the Russians will start looking at the court surface if they get a few bad bounces or what they think is a bad bounce.
30 love.
I spoke to the doubles player Andrei Olahovsky yesterday, as we see that beautifully directed first serve from Hewitt. He said the court surface was terrible, but I can tell you that's just an opinion from his team. Our guys think it's a very good grass court, and it is.
40 love.
Safe to say that Leighton is in stride now, gaining in confidence. Serve volley.
2 games all.
Well, it's not his stock play, is it, for Hewitt to serve and volley all the time, but he is a very competent volleyer, and we saw the difference there when he went into the net, the technique he had on the volley compared to the big man from Russia. So he looks good. He needs to keep the ball deep on the return of serve, though, Hewitt, to give himself a chance against the Russian serve.
Love 15.
It's the Russian captain.
Was that a worried look?
He's not on the Gold Coast holidaying, that's for sure.
Love 30.
And I think it's safe to say, John, that one of Safin's weaknesses, or if you go in the locker room and talk to some of the players, they say he does drop his head. He looks like he's giving matches away at different times, and he won't want to drop his head against Hewitt because Leighton will be all over him if that's the case.
15-30.
Well, there's no better example than when he played Gustavo Quetin in the second round of the Australian Open in January. Several times during that match he appeared to be giving it away, but he hung on and won.
And there's the strategy of Hewitt starting to pay off. That was an excellent return of serve. He made the big Russian move wide, and as soon as he got him a little bit off balance, it drew the error. So a big turnaround here for Hewitt, a real window of opportunity now, 15-40 to break again.
And another double fault to concede the break. Australia is up a break, 3-2 in the first set. And now really has gained momentum, leading with a break, 3-2 in the first set. And his poise is remarkable. Just 18 years of age.
And you'd have to say that that's Leighton Hewitt's favourite serve. In the first game, he struggled with that one. Safin was waiting for it, and Leighton didn't get it quite wide enough, and Safin really pounded some big forehands, but that one was pinpoint. John, that in the unforced error column at the end of this match, you might see that Marat Safin goes close to breaking a record if he continues with this style of play. He needs to just take the foot off the accelerator a little bit, at least keep the ball in court so that he can wait for an opportunity to go for the big one. He's trying too early in the point at the moment.
At the moment, he really doesn't look like he's willing to play and come to terms with Leighton. He wants the cheap point with a quick and easy winner.
Right. 40-15.
Again, no moderation on the return, and the error comes. Well, Leighton in the press conference yesterday said there's Mark Woodford and Pat Rafter there, Sandon Stolley, that if Safin came to the net, he'd try to make him play because he didn't believe he was a good volleyer.
Game Australia.
That certainly is negative body language there from the Russian, and Hewitt now must be feeling rather confident.
Australia leads 4-2.
What a turnaround from a 2-love deficit to a 4-2 advantage, all in the space of about 10 minutes. And Safin really needs to gather his thoughts here. This is a must-win game here for him.
Love. 30 love.
John Newcomb, very aware of the nature of Marat Safin.
40 love.
He certainly believes strongly in Leighton Hewitt, doesn't he, Nuke? He said yesterday that he didn't feel that. What a return there from Hewitt. Boy, that can shake up a serve and volleyer. But Nuke said yesterday he felt that even Kafelnikov didn't have a lot that could hurt Hewitt with. He said with his style of game, he said Hewitt will get a lot of balls back, and he thinks he'll give the world number 2 a real shake on the final day.
Game Russia. New balls, please.
Safin holds on, stays
Australia
within
leads
sight.
4 games to
Australia
3.
leads 4-3 with the world former coach Yvonne Lendl, Tony Roach, and a great player.
And next to Tony, former chiropractor of Ivan Lendl, sports chiropractor from Melbourne, Andrea Bazats, and just down the road there was Paddy Rafter sitting, looking a little incognito there on the Australian bench. Hewitt to serve, 4-3 with a break in the first set. That's the type of shot you'd expect Safin to knock off for a winner. If Hewitt drops the ball short inside the service line and it bounces up, Safin will go for a winner. That time missing it in the first couple of games he made these shots. That was a short ball and should have been knocked off by the Russian. So Leighton will do well to at least keep the ball deep. I really feel he'll win the majority of points if he can keep those ground strokes within a metre or two of the baseline.
15 all.
What annoys Safin about a grass court is he's not understanding that it is a live surface and you don't get a precisely perfect bounce. And even that mid-court miss of his, the ball just moves slightly towards him, and that upsets him.
15-30.
Well, a little strange again from Hewitt, another double fault to put himself in a small hole here in this 8th game. I just wonder whether the sun from this southern end is having an effect.
It's interesting whether the umpire will award 2 for the disruption. Mike Morrissey, a very experienced official. That hit the umpire right on the side of the head.
Well, this is a roller coaster first set, no doubt about that. Out of nowhere, Leighton has played a very poor game here to let Safin, or give him the opportunity to get back into this first set. 2 double faults and a poor backhand miss.
For serve.
Game's level at 4 all.
Well, I've got a feeling that Safin, with his game, probably shouldn't serve and volley. After that episode, he's come to the net a couple of times and looked very incompetent. He's better off waiting, using that first serve to draw the short return, and then use his big weapon, the ground strokes. Oh, what a backhand that is, though. Goodness. And he's got a spring in his step again, Jay.
15 all.
Yes, this is his nature. He gets very down and throw point after point away with a temperamental slap at a ball, and then things start to turn around. Some of them go in and he picks himself up again. It's not easy to play or get rhythm against such a player.
30-15.
And there, Leighton just pressing a little bit too much from three-quarter court.
(40-15). Russia leads 5 games to 4.
Holds on to serve. Russia has been a roller coaster. He went down 2-love, was devastated over the first 2 games, came back, won the next 4. Serving with a break, he dropped serve. 4-5.
Love 15. Love 30.
Well, he's a streaky player, isn't he? Look, just about dead and gone halfway through this first set. Coming up with 2 magnificent returns of serve here to put him up love 30 once again, Safin. He's 2 points away from this first set now.
Good tactic by Leighton Hewitt. Went for the lob straight into the sun.
15-30.
And Safin looking up. And you could see before he even made the swing at this, he started to give away. His head turned down away from the sun. Just caught the ball with the top of his racket. Good thinking from Leighton. 15-30. There's a confidence building point for Leighton Hewitt.
Well, in the context of this match, this is a very important game. Down love 30 here. Looking like he might be able to win the first set just a few minutes ago, and Hewitt now under a lot of pressure. That is a good forehand to set up this next winner. The depth of the Safin return that's really hurt Hewitt in this game. That was an excellent second serve. Took the risk, went for the wide one. Close to the line, but Safin was equal to it. He pounded that forehand again within centimetres, really, of the baseline, and that's what's giving Hewitt a lot of problems. So it's set point now to Russia.
Deuce.
Safin questioning the call. The captain making no move to challenge on his behalf. Mike Morrissey happy with the line call. At juice.
First serve.
Well, you can see Safin
Advantage
moving. He thought
serve.
that second serve would go to the forehand again. He knows that's Hewitt's favourite. And Leighton, very smartly that time, going to the body with the second serve, catching the big Russian off balance. So hanging in there, Leighton Hewitt.
Game Australia.
Well, you'd have to say that was a good game to win. Down a
5
set
games
point.
all.
Well, we've seen it before. Leighton Hewitt is a great competitor. He enjoys successfully competing.
Do you think he likes winning more than he hates losing? He does not like to lose, Leighton Hewitt. Not even the thought entering his head. So back on serve now, 5-all. And now Safin serving into the sun.
15 love. Love. $40 love. Game Russia. Russia leads 6 games to 5.
Solid game from Safin. And Marat Safin certainly has picked up his game. Last game possibly the best since his opening service game, which was so impressive. His first 2 games were impressive. Leighton Hewitt having to hold serve to force the tiebreaker, 5-6.
See Leighton Hewitt mishit so many balls. He has an incredible number of unforced errors at the moment, 20 in this first set. That's highly unusual, and I believe it's just has to have everything to do with the power that Safin is hitting the ball at him with. Just not timing the ball because it's coming at him so fast.
Safin has come to the net. Leighton has failed to force him to volley. And scrambling well here. Missing on the pass. Love 30, Australia in trouble.
$15-30.
Everything he lays his big paw on seems to really take off. That return of serve really hit with power.
$30 all.
Well, as much as Leighton is struggling to stay in this first set, it must be frustrating for the Russian because he's had love 30 in these last 2 service games of Hewitt. Really within striking distance of closing out this first set, but not able so far to put the young Aussie away.
Game Australia.
So now the moment of truth in this first
6
set.
games all.
Safin has
First
had
set
his
tiebreaker.
opportunities. Leighton Hewitt's been able to hang on to force this tiebreaker, and a pivotal stage, I'm sure, of this match here. Well, that time Leighton Hewitt doing everything possible to keep the ball in at all costs, and it pays off. It was a real
1-0
bonus that he got a couple of
Australia.
those balls very deep. That's where the Russian has trouble. His footwork is not as good as some of the more nippier players on the circuit. Look how deep that one is from Hewitt, and another deep one there that draws the error. So he's got a mini break.
Australia.
Two very poor unforced errors there from Safin off second serves. And bad body language all of a sudden again. He's down 3-0 now. And Leighton, I'm sure, can smell a victory in this first set. And he's pumped.
Well-structured point at a critical
4-0.
stage. Measured
Australia.
the short ball, hit it for what it's worth. Commanding position now. Good movement at the net, and he liked it. Five-zero.
5-0.
And now
Australia.
2 points on serve. And he is rampaging.
Australia.
Well, the unforced errors have just come back to haunt Safin, haven't they? He got himself back into a winning position after being down in that first set. Kept the errors down to a minimum for that period at the end before the tiebreaker, but all of a sudden he starts spraying balls everywhere. That was a difficult shot, a good hit by Hewitt to set that point up, but I think what really hurt Safin in this tiebreaker was, and I'm speaking in past tense almost here because it is 6-0, were the two unforced errors on Hewitt's serve early in the breaker. So 6 set points now to Australia.
Game and first set. Australia, 7 games to 6.
Safin concedes with an angry slap.
And he faced Love 30 twice. Faced a set point in the 5-4 game. And was able to come through. Once he got his nose in front in the tiebreaker, he's a good front runner, Leighton.
Thank you, players are ready, please.
And a big psychological turnaround there for him to win that first set.
Thank you.
You can't help feeling, John, if he keeps his unforced errors down, he will win this match. That's the big if, I think, for Leighton here.
Well, for Safin,
15
there's
love.
just so little margin in his game because he's hitting the ball so fast. So every time the ball deviates off the ground, I think the error comes.
I'm not sure if you'd want him in the front line with you, would you?
All.
It's funny, isn't it, though, if Safin can hit 4 or 5 or even 6 balls in a row in a rally, quite often he'll win the point because his power is so much that
30-15.
that wears his opponents down. Leighton Hewitt still at 44% on that first serve. The percentage is not high enough, and he has struggled from this southern end. I'm sure it's because of the sun. Needs to get that first serve percentage up around 60 at least.
Sliding serve into the body of Safin. He doesn't move his feet, and there it comes. Australia leads 1-0.
It's going to be a wonderful shootout between these two teenagers that already showed its worth already.
Yes, David, at the start I thought the Russian boy was trying to overhit too much. I thought, oh, you know, the solid game of Hewitt would handle him nicely, but he's come back a little bit. And Love 15.
Have you seen any unbridled enthusiasm like this, Leighton Hewitt before?
No, he's certainly got the, the will to win, and he gets very excited. I mean.
Would bring back memories to you, the halcyon days of Milton.
Yes, I mean, I was lucky enough to be in the team in '62 when they had all those huge stands at Milton, and this is just exactly like deja vu. Love 40.
You've got the best seat in the house down there at the northern end. How do you see this match going?
Well, I think he'll be too steady, Hewitt. The other boy tries to hit too hard on grass, and he's you know, even though he hits them like hell. I mean, I don't know how they hit him that hard, but I just think he'll be a bit too steady, Hewitt.
Well, Ken, it's been a delight to talk to you.
Good. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Ken and David.
Game, Australia.
And there, again, conceding his serve with a double fault, and Safin, unhappy,
Australia
goes down a break
2 games to love.
in the second set. Leighton Hewitt leading 2-love, and Ken Fletcher really was not only one of the great tennis players that Australia ever produced, magnificent forehand, won the Grand Slam in mixed doubles, and doubles at Wimbledon with John Newcombe, and Wimbledon semi-finalist, Australian finalist. I would say that his tennis career paled into insignificance compared to the monumental character that is Ken Fletcher.
He still is a great character, isn't he?
He was a casino player and a gambler and a card player and a real character.
But every time I see him, he brings a smile to my face. He is a lovely gentleman. Funny, funny man, Ken Fletcher. And what a forehand he had.
13.
This is an incredible run of poor form, though, from Safin. At the start of the tiebreaker, just minutes ago, Hewitt and Safin both had 20 unforced errors each. Well, Hewitt hasn't put another one up on the board since then, and Safin now is standing at 31. He's had 11 unforced errors after 2.5 games plus a tiebreaker, and that's not good. There's no way you can win if that continues.
Oh, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Fits in. It looks good to me at the moment.
13-15.
I've got a feeling then that Safin just asked his teammates not to continually encourage him. He just wants to try and settle down himself. I think it might be annoying him a little bit that his teammates are constantly trying to rev him up.
Just a little lapse of concentration from Leighton, almost as if things had become a little bit too easy for him at the beginning of this second set and through the tiebreaker.
Well, he needed a first serve there, Hewitt. He's been struggling on the percentage. It's still below 50%. And he really needed one there to save that break point and consolidate this early break of serve to really put him ahead here in the second set. Back to Juice.
Advantage Australia.
Again, overplaying when there was the opportunity to just put Leighton in difficulty with an aggressive shot, just went for the winner again. Leighton hits the serve volley, and Australia leads. A very difficult time trying to communicate with his young player. Safin really in the dumps now. Serving now with new balls. Love 3 and down a set.
Love 15.
And I think Yevgeny Kafelnikov has left the bench where the Russian team is sitting. You can probably see the writing on the wall here, I think. Looks like his team might be down 1-0, and he's headed back to the locker room to mentally prepare for his match against Wayne Arthurs.
15.
But I think Safin would be a tough man to coach, wouldn't he, if you're sitting on the side? There's not a lot of reaction there between the coach and the player. Looked terribly depressed at the change of ends.
That's just showing no prudence at all. Taken wide, he was under pressure and just insists on trying for the winner rather than just getting the ball back into play and trying to reason with his younger opponent at deuce.
Advantage Russia.
Wow, that one did hop a little bit. It stayed low. Bounce just checked on itself, and Leighton wasn't quick enough on that occasion to move his feet and get inside the court.
Game Russia.
So he stops the right to a certain degree. Marat Safin finally holds serve
3-1
and is on the board now in the second set. Someone in the crowd stating the obvious there. Come on, Leighton, you've got him worried. One of the problems Safin faces here is that he has one type of game that gives him a lot of success, but if it's not winning the match for him or if he's down, there's not a lot he can revert to. He can't change his tactics too much. He attempted to on that occasion and looked a little bit at sea.
The best point that Safin has played in the entire match as far as using his brain. Taken wide, he went with a one-handed slice backhand to keep the ball in play, and then when the opening was there, he played the ball a little bit more modestly down the line, moved in, volleyed a little close to the line for safety.
You wouldn't want to bet your life on that volley, would you? Oh, that's a good shot, though. He likes to hit that one. He feels much more at home back there on the baseline.
15-30.
And he has a small opportunity now at 15:30 to break the Aussie serve. Not much Leighton Hewitt can do about that shot. That is a rocket ship. I don't think you'd see Kafelnikov miss an opportunity like that. A second serve to the forehand, not even make your opponent play, just give him a free point out of nowhere.
That's happened several times at Love 30. He's missed 3 or 4 consecutive returns of serve.
30-40.
To a certain degree, Hewitt has taken his foot off the accelerator a little bit here. He's just playing a little conservatively, and he's in trouble here. Break point.
For serve. Deuce.
Both players with their service percentage in the 40s. Leighton Hewitt at 49%. Getting his first serve in at the critical stage there. When he's wrong-footed and has to move, Fitzy.
Exactly. Leighton knew that he needed to make the big Russian move. He said that before the match. He does it beautifully on this point. You can see how awkward Safin was there. The problem with the grass for Safin is that it doesn't give him a chance to get back into the court like clay does, a slower surface. Easier for him to move on. And he gets time to set up then for his next ground stroke. On the grass, I'm sure that he feels rushed. His body language is a little bit better now, though. Safin, he has pumped his fist a little bit in this game. He's trying to make a stand here.
For serve. Advantage Australia.
Safin and Addicts. A little ditty entitled "If You All Love Leighton, Clap Your Hands," and there was a lot of people clapping. Marat Safin serving 1-4.
15 length.
Just a little acrobatic.
Oh, I think
15 all.
Marat went for the knockout blow here. A little frustration.
30-15.
Safin really does generate a ton of speed, doesn't he, with what appears to be very little effort. It looked like the same swing on that last backhand that he hit at Hewitt that he'd used earlier in the rally. The ball just went twice as fast. Boy, he's in trouble, though, isn't he? When he moves wide, he just could not get back into the court after that wide forehand.
Yes, I'd like to know the percentage of win-loss once the ball's gone over the net 2 or 3 times in a point, because it seems the longer the point goes, the greater the chance that Leighton has of winning.
40-30.
Australia, the passing shot of Leighton's just clipping the top of the net. See it in replay. Safin dragged into the net, and that ball travelling just off the top of the net. No way of reflexing that. At juice.
Advantage Australia.
And before that point, John, you could hear John Newcombe on the side of the court telling Leighton, okay, right here, you've got back to juice, let's make a big effort and break. As Nuke watches on, fairly confidently, he knows that another break is important because Hewitt has struggled a little bit on serve in this second set. Well, Leighton did everything right in that rally. He made a good return of serve, and he hits a very good backhand here deep. You wouldn't expect, well, you would expect to at least get your racket on the next ball, but Safin just ripping a winner from a very awkward position in the court.
Advantage Russia. Game Russia.
Come on!
Australia leads 4 games to 2.
Well, he gets out of it, Safin. He was in all sorts of trouble there. Break point down. Hewitt had him wide in the court. And that big backhand winner that he produced on that break point has kept his hopes alive in the second set. So Hewitt still now with 1 break in hand, serving at 4-2. Well, any sort of movement gives Marett trouble because that time Hewitt decided to make him change directions. He went behind him with another forehand and he looked a little ungainly on that occasion as well.
Is just going way too far on the power.
30.
That ball just hit so fast, the chance of it going in were minimal. Not comfortable when he has to move. 30 love, 4-2. Australia 1 set in the lead.
Second serve.
You couldn't say that he was a happy camper right now, could you?
He feels a little bit far away from home. and missing mum. And concedes the game. No choice, no chase to the volley. And from that point forth, he has really taken command of this match. And Safin now serving to stay in the second set. And you'd have to think from 2 sets to love down, it wouldn't appear that Safin has the ability to come back. He looks rather despondent.
Love 50.
Well, as in the last game that Safin served, Leighton Hewitt will be making a big effort to break here again. There is the unforced errors. Keep in mind it was even at 20 all towards the end of the first set. Safin has forged ahead on that statistic, which is not good from his point of view. And he continues to miss pretty easy shots. He's very despondent. This is a good game for Hewitt to win here, so that he can put this second set in the can. He can then start serving, which advantage in the third set to serve first.
Encapsulates the difference between the two players. One fighting every inch of the way, and the other one frittering away opportunities because it's as if he has conceded defeat. Look at Leighton fighting and chasing.
Game, second sets, Australia.
And that sums it up.
6 games to 2.
Hewitt thinks he's got heart, and the other guy
Australia leads
doesn't.
2 sets to love.
There's absolutely no doubting the courage of Leighton Hewitt, his ability to fight regardless of the score. And he's also got that other ability when he's got his opponent down, he will stomp on him without mercy. And Marat Safin has not displayed the same fighting qualities to this point. 2 sets to love, Australia lead.
15 love.
The approach shot was deep and hard, and Leighton Hewitt moved back
30
the
love.
ball from the top of the bounce and guided it down the line. Perfection.
Well, he virtually had too much time there, Hewitt, to knock that ball off. It's an unusual miss. He just got a bit too close to the ball in the end. But there's a lot of good things about Leighton Hewitt and his game and his passion. And one of the best, I think, is the fact that he is not afraid to finish off a match. When he gets in front, sometimes it can actually generate his game or make him play to a better level. And it wouldn't surprise me if he steps it up a bit here in the third set. When he gets a sniff of victory, he's not afraid to take that last step.
Quite an interesting approach shot there from the Russian. A heavily sliced one-hander that kept low didn't come through helped to produce the error. And Newcombe just having a little stretch. The tension is easing. Just wants to guide his young player home. Safin, when he's forced to move, makes the error, sliding, losing his balance as he tried to make that backhand passing shot. And here it is from the reverse angle. Not a bad attempt, despite the difficulty of it.
Game Australia. First game, third set.
And Safin concedes with an angry play.
Thank you,
Safin,
players
very
already. Thank
dangerous player. Has big weapons. Serving, trailing 2 sets to love and love 1.
Thank you.
On a surface that's foreign to him. Only his second match on grass.
Love 50.
It is hard to imagine, isn't it? At this stage of the match, with that scoreline and what has transpired so far in this match, it's hard to believe that Safin could come back and win this. However, he has been the distance before in Davis Cup in the last tie. In fact, he went the distance twice, 1 in 5 sets.
Love 30.
And that's a warning. The frustration just boiling over there from Marat Safin, and to top it off, someone took a specky in the crowd.
Code violation, ball abuse, warning Russia.
And I think Marat Safin figured, if I'm going to get one, I might as well be worthwhile.
15-30.
So often outward appearances are deceiving. Underneath this sort of casual and sometimes facade.
And 2 break points now for Hewitt to open up this third set with.
15-40.
Yes, under this facade that would make him appear as if he's not trying. I think he is desperately trying, but in trouble now. Leighton, knowing the importance of this point, just trying to nurse the ball over. It's the Russian captain.
Game Australia.
Well, he lamely gives that game away with another double fault.
Australia leads 2 games to love.
And the hole is getting bigger and bigger all the time now for Marat Safin. Look, I think you're right, Jay. He probably is trying, but he's incredibly frustrated at the moment. And in some ways, though, it's a very poor performance, isn't it, from the big Russian? You would have expected him to handle the disappointments a lot better than he has.
Yes, John, there's no doubt that I think going into any match, he hopes to go for big winners and win the match that way. Against Lleyton Hewitt, that's very unlikely to happen because he's just going to chase so many balls down and force you to play again and again. Second point in a row, Marat Safin coming to the net.
Love 30.
So maybe he is deciding on a new strategy. Fine attempted passing shot there, but Safin at 6'4" reached out and covered it.
Oh! 15-30.
He's done that so often, hasn't he? When he's had love 30s, just often on a return of serve off the second ball, gone for the winner, and just the margin's not there. And when he tenses up, he makes the errors. Again, a makeable return, and the error comes.
Well, I think on the clay, John, two things. It gives his feet time to get into position. And the other thing is that the movement off the grass, it can vary occasionally. Even on a good grass court, the ball will deviate a little bit, and that's catching him off guard and out of position. He hasn't had the experience on grass. He's struggled at Wimbledon, and he just feels like he's on a foreign surface, literally, at the moment. And you just can't imagine him, if he continues with that tactic, can't imagine him winning the majority of the points, because if Leighton makes him volley, certainly when it's something that's low and wide and Safin has to generate his own speed on the volley, I just don't think he's a good enough volleyer to do that.
Game Australia.
And Leighton is really
Australia
charged.
leads 3 games to love.
2 sets to love and 3 love. Paul McNamee.
Well, Paul, this was just what the doctor ordered, particularly with Wayne Arthurs facing a Davis Cup debut against Kafelnikov a little later this afternoon.
Yeah, well, it means we're 1 up. I mean, Wayne's got to be extremely nervous for his debut. I mean, at 28 years of age, playing Davis Cup semi-final, so, and playing number 2 in the world now. We're 1 up, nothing to lose. So he'll be okay.
This crowd is riding him home as well.
Oh yeah, and they'll be big for the next match. I think they'll be on Wayne's side against Evgeny, and very important match to try and get to 2 love. It'll be tough though.
He seems not to get phased even with a bad service game.
Young Leighton's a fantastic competitor. And we've seen the difference between he and Safin, just in their competitive spirit. I mean, they both hit the ball well, but Leighton's competitive spirit, there's nothing like that out on the tour.
15 all.
As well. How do you rate this ANZ venue?
It's set up beautifully for a temporary stadium, really, with all the stands for Davis Cup. It looks beautiful, and the crowd, they've got the atmosphere. I mean, they could play tennis here again.
Well, it's wonderful to see you back in Brisbane. It's been the scene of many great moments for you, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Davis Cup tie, and there's a long way to go, though.
Thank you, David and Paul. Paul McNamee had one of his great moments in Davis Cup at Melbourne, coming back from 2 sets to 1 down against Brad Gilbert, and I think he won the 4th and the 5th with the loss of maybe 1 game.
6-1, 6 love to help carry us through to the semi-finals in 1986. A tremendous effort it was, and you think Leighton Hewitt has passion. Well, so did Paul McNamee. When he played for Australia, he had lots of it.
And he went into the talent spotting business. He claimed he discovered Michael Chang when Michael was 15 and lost to him in the first round of the US Open.
Oh, good return there from Hewitt. It sets up another opportunity. Russia still ahead. Marat Safin 40-30 in this game, but Hewitt keeping the pressure on at every opportunity.
Exactly what you were saying about Leighton's competitive instincts in the previous game. Even though he's down 40-30, he's up a break, up 2 sets to love. He's still trying to get that added break to really bury Safin. And this will bode well for the possible 5th match. If Leighton can really destroy his confidence on grass, Wayne Arthurs would have to go on the court if the match is still alive in the 5th rubber with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, you'd have to think that Wayne maybe gets over the initial nerves on this first day, and if he has to play Safin in the 5th live match, you'd have to think he's a good chance after watching this, particularly after watching this performance from Marat.
And add to that, they have actually played in 1998, and Wayne Arthurs beat Marat Safin. There's a few strong indicators there. And with this performance, Australia edging into favouritism.
Second serve. Advantage Australia.
And he is relentless, merciless, in his attempt to grind Marat Safin into the ground.
I think you're exactly right, John. A victory here for Australia in this fashion certainly edges Australia into favouritism for this tie, because it's not just that we're up 1-love, it's what this match might do to Safin's confidence.
Deuce.
I mean, something like this can destroy you for months. It takes a lot of courage and conviction and character to come back from, assuming that he does go down in this 3rd set. It takes a lot of character to come back from a pummeling like that. Oh, that's a shot. One of the better ones he's hit all day. I tell you what, though, it was still a low percentage shot, and it just skimmed over the top of the tape. Watch how low this goes over the tape, this next backhand, and just stays in the baseline by about, you'd think, half a metre. Oh, and overruled there by Mike Morrissey.
Speaks 3 languages, English, Russian and Spanish.
I think that's certainly worth a question for Marat Safin there. That ball was very close, and the linesman obviously going with a good call. Mike Morrissey in a good spot. It was a line ball decision whether that was out or not, but he's sitting right on top of that line. John, anything low and slow, when Safin is at the net, he's in all sorts of trouble.
He looked so uncomfortable. He looked gawky trying to take that half volley. Smart play by Leighton Hewitt. He is such a cunning player, so aware of the subtle weaknesses in his opponent.
For serve. Advantage Australia.
So maybe a tiny bit fortunate there, Leighton Hewitt, for that return to drop on the line. But once it was in play, Safin was at a big disadvantage. Break point again.
Deuce.
Safin is hanging on. That, forehand from 3/4 court hit with real venom.
Advantage Russia.
So the short ball tricking Leighton every now and again. There is a worn area, the centre service line, and the ball holds up there, and Leighton just not moving up quickly enough.
Deuce.
Well, I think under normal circumstances, you'd expect Safin to make that forehand probably, heck, at least 8 and probably 9 times out of 10. That was a simple shot for him, and just the predicament that he's in is causing him to overhit even more.
Advantage Russia. Game Russia, new balls please. Australia
leads 3-1, 2 sets to love. So Leighton tried desperately to secure the insurance break in this third set, but remains up 1 break of serve, still very comfortable. 2 sets to love and 3-1 in the first rubber. Australia v Russia, semi-final of Davis Cup competition by NEC.
Hewitt serving here with new balls.
Love 15.
Which are always a little faster through the air and tend to fly a little bit. It takes maybe a few hits to get used to the new speed off the court.
Just a loss of concentration there. Leighton not expecting Safin to give such good chase.
Well, it was an excellent point, wasn't it? A first-class first serve, a miraculous return, really, and that, again, was an amazing shot from out of court, and Leighton missing the fairly simple one.
Interesting change of heart there for Safin. So often at love 30 he's just gone for the winner, made the error. This time he was willing to chase and scramble, but Leighton too good on the overhead, but really had to fight to win this point. 15-30.
And this third set still alive here. Interesting now how important maybe that extra break was in the previous game. The opportunities that Hewitt had to take it to 4-love have now disappeared, and there's a chance now for the Russians, 2 of them in fact, to get back on serve here in this set.
The break back. Games are back on serve. Australia leading 3-2 for love in the previous game, and then was broken subsequently. And so Safin back in this match to some extent, serving 2-3, trailing 2 sets to love.
And John, I would say the previous game was the best game that Safin had played in the whole match. He really made a big effort on about 3 of the points in that game. He ran down wide balls, he kept the ball in play, and then when he really needed to on the break point, he came up with a big winner. So there's still a little bit of fight left there.
15.
The double fault starting to rise. They're up to 12 now compared to 4 for Leighton Hewitt. And you can hear John Newcombe on the side of the court urging his young player on. Well, he certainly goes for the line, no question about that. Boy, right on top of the line.
Leighton back with a chance to get a break at 30 all.
All of a sudden another lapse, and now you can hear Pat Rafter's voice for the first time in the match. He can sense that Leighton is close to winning this and starting to get a tiny bit vocal on the side of the court. Well, that'd have to break your heart as you see the Aussies pump. There's Pat, second from the left. After playing such a courageous game in the previous game, he slumps back into his former form, how he was playing earlier in this match, and just gives away a gift to Leighton Hewitt. 4 unforced errors, and now the writing really on the wall. 4-2, Hewitt serving. Language is no better than it was during the second set from Marat Safin. I think he virtually gave the down the line shot here. He gave that to Hewitt. Leighton just hit a bullet just right onto the racket, unfortunately for him. And Newk encouraging Hewitt on his serve, telling him it was a good one. He's still only at 50%. He'll need to improve that if he's to give Kafelnikov a run for his money, but nevertheless, it's not a bad effort if you can serve below your best and still be leading 2-0 in a break. Well, the crowd applauding there because there was another magical take in the stands. That ball fired off the end of Leighton Hewitt's racket, and one of the spectators just put his hand straight up in the air and plucked it.
There's the intensity of Leighton Hewitt when things don't go as he hopes. He's very harsh on himself. 15-40, 2 break-back points for Russia.
Game Russia.
And they've done it.
Australia leads 4 games to 3.
Game's back on serve. Australia still in the lead. 2-0 at
Hugh,
10
players are
as
ready.
the match draws to a climax. 3-4. right shot. Leighton was just trying to force him to play a low volley. Here it is in replay.
That would have been a difficult shot for Safin to handle, I'm sure. Well, just lifting a little bit on a couple of forehands in the last two games. Leighton missed a pretty straightforward forehand, pressed too much on at 15-30 in the previous game to go down 2 break points, so a little bit of a hiccup here. And a little bit of luck there from Leighton. Very good first serve. And Hewitt just getting his racket on the ball, popped it deep, and it ended up being quite a difficult shot.
As it gets on the full run, sliding out of court, and wrong footing Safin back across court. Juice. That time, Leighton Hewitt losing his footing, sliding, but regaining his balance, but maybe just not quite enough to have full control over the last forehand.
Safin starting a mini fight back here. Coming back from breaks down twice in this set. He's back to 4-all. He's given himself a fighting chance here to at least get his country on the board in the sets column. But more than the score, I think his attitude has slightly improved. Yes, he is feeling uncomfortable. Not at all happy with the situation, but at least he's maintaining some sort of composure at the moment. And in contrast, Leighton Hewitt now maybe just starting to think about this too much. He's close to victory in some ways, but I guess in others he's still a long way to go, because it's always the hardest part of the match to close it out. Certainly lifted his work rate, Safin, and now he's starting not to miss.
Well, he's waiting for the appropriate shot to go for. He's keeping the ball in play, compromising more often. Forecast maximum temperature for today was 24 degrees. It is above that now here at ANZ Stadium. A beautiful summer's day by most people's standards. Shrewd sliding serve, slice low and wide, keeping the taller opponent off balance. And that really stung Safin, missing that forehand at love 30.
he certainly knows what an opportunity he has right at this moment.
Oh, incredible overrule here by Mike Morrissey. The second serve was called wide, which would have been a point to the Russian. He has overruled it, which actually gives the Australians 2 serves. And on such a critical point, you can be sure that Marat Safin feels things have been rather harsh. There is the call.
I would say on the replay, Jay, that caught the outside of the line. So I think the call is actually correct, but nevertheless, he needs to be very sure that he's made the right decision.
And that really hurts Marat Safin.
And he certainly has a point to argue, doesn't he? However, I think, ironically, the call from the overrule from Mike Morrissey was correct.
Wouldn't happen in any other country. The Australian linesperson has called the ball wide against the Australian. The English neutral umpire corrected it. That really could be a turning point. Safin fighting a rearguard action, trying to piece together a match here, and cruel treatment at a critical stage. 30-all.
Well, Leighton came back from love 30 twice at the end of the first set to end up winning it in a tiebreaker. He faced a set point on one occasion, and he's under a lot of pressure here again in this third set. Oh yes, that time Safin making the right move. Edging towards his forehand side, the serve went into the body, and by moving to his right, it opened up some space for him, gave himself some room, and look at that, perfect. Break point.
This time it is Hewitt who double faults to concede serve. And after this break, Russia will serve for the third set. As if he didn't care, as if he wasn't going to give it a full effort, but he has continued to fight. And there has been some reward.
Love 50.
Return on that occasion from Hewitt. He had the opportunity of hitting a second serve back at Marat Safin, and he really did a good job. He got the ball deep with a little bit of speed on it. Well, he's hit 3 big ones in this game, Marat Safin, to take himself to set point. That first serve certainly is a big weapon.
not very adaptable in that forecourt area. He's tall. He failed really to get up to the ball quickly enough and or low enough to the ball.
And a difficult situation here for him, having to change that racket. May well have broken a string, but trying to find one that's the right tension, Jay, and it's a difficult moment. If he misses a first serve here on this juice point, then things become a little tense for him.
A very tense situation. Juice 5-4, serving for the third set.
Wow, fancy being able to pick up a new restring and do that. Well, they've won 4 points each in this game, Jay. Every time Safin's got a first serve in, he's won the point. Every time he's missed the first serve, he's lost it. Well, and that one's gone against the averages. So a break back point now for Leighton Hewitt.
Advantage Australia.
Interesting point. Leighton Hewitt doing what he does best, scurrying, fighting, clawing. And yet at the end of the point, Marat Safin looked the worse for wear. Back at juice.
Serves of the match right there, both within centimetres of the centre line, and again Marat Safin has set point.
Okay, 30 seconds Russia. 6 game on the board. Australia leads 2-1.
Well, an opportunity lost for Australia at 3-love up. There was a chance to go 4-love, and certainly Leighton did everything in his power to gain that advantage. It wasn't to be, and Safin has come back. Hewitt serving, first game of the fourth set.
15.
And really, to his credit, Marat Safin looked like he was down and out. Amazing how negative his body language was. And yet he still managed to hang in there and fight for that third set. And he came up with the goods when it really mattered too. So a very important part of the match again here with Hewitt serving first game of the fourth. I really feel it is an advantage to serve first in a set, particularly when you get ahead that one game.
Oh. 30-15. Come on, man. 40-15.
The other thing to consider, John, is that the longer Marat Safin stays out there, the more used to the conditions he will get, the more confidence he will start to gain, which I guess is all detrimental to Australia.
Australia leads 1-love, fourth set.
15.
The nature of the baseline points far different to what was occurring during the first and second set. Safin was so intent on going for winners, made a lot of unforced errors. Now far more willing to compromise to keep the ball in play and wait for the opportunity.
And you can see how dangerous this player could be. Not unlike Mark Philippoussis in some ways, his margin for error is not as high as most competitors, but boy, if he has an on day, you can imagine him beating virtually anyone in the world. He starts hitting the lines with those big ground strokes.
That's exactly what happened in the French last year when he came out of Russia at 18 years of age. No real history, and beat Andre Agassi in 5 sets in the opening round, and then the defending champion Gustavo Kuerten, before he was finally beaten by Cedric Pierlin in 5 sets in the round of 16. Hewitt really just measuring that overhead, staying very composed, waiting for the commitment of Safin to the backhand corner. Another beautiful backhand by Safin to level the 4th set at 1 game all.
Well, for a moment there, Jay, he did change his strategy, didn't he? Started coming into the net in the 3rd set, which made him look a little bit vulnerable. But now he's reverted back to his normal game plan, which is going for those low percentage winners, and he's starting to make them, which is not good news for Leighton.
I think the subtle difference is, Fitzy, that he was going for winners regardless of the quality of the shot coming from Leighton, whereas now he's just showing a little bit of patience and not going for so many so often with such exuberance. Little breeze picking up at ANZ Stadium. This is a first in Australia. A country which historically has had major tennis venues in each of our capital cities. Milton has been sold and developed commercially. 30-love to Australia. And the sliding serve. Oh, that was a little bit wild, wasn't it?
I think that ball propped a little bit, and Leighton virtually overran that one. He was there in so much time, and the ball stopped a little bit on him, and he wasn't able to adjust his swing. So 40-15.
Safin moving to the net at the appropriate time. Leighton Hewitt really doing the lion's share of work out here from the reverse angle, digging the ball back into play. This time Safin closing in right on top of the net and putting the point beyond any question. 40-30. Australia leads 2-1. Tennis Queensland and the Special Events Corp here in Brisbane. Looks like a very integrated stadium. New balls, Safin serving. 1-2, fourth set.
That's it, mate.
You can hear Newt there saying, "That's it, mate." When he got the short ball, Leighton really did press with it, and it drew the error from Safin's racket. No good getting a short ball and just caressing it back into the court. You really need to do something positive with it, and Hewitt is very good at that. On the line from Safin.
15-all.
Beautiful forehand down the line, because Hewitt played a good point here. It took a lot of courage, and boy, he went for it. Well, amazingly, the unforced errors now from Marat Safin's racket are 84 compared to 55 from Leighton Hewitt. Ironically, he's probably playing more consistently over the last half an hour than he has all day. But two big errors now, opening the door for Hewitt. The easy forehand, and then to top it off, a double fault. 15-40 now to Australia. 2 break points. It's long, and there's the break for Australia. And Leighton looking for encouragement from this big crowd here at the ANZ Stadium in Brisbane.
Australia leads 3-1.
Just needs to remain composed here, Leighton, not get overexcited too early. Maybe there was a little bit of that in the third set when he tried to close out the match. But with a break at 3-1 here, and with balls that are just 1 game old, you'd be looking for Leighton Hewitt to consolidate that break of serve now. 3-1.
Love 15.
That's too good.
Love 30.
He's missed so many of those today, Marat Safin, but if he finds his range, that's how he would win the majority of his matches. As soon as he gets a short ball, particularly on the forehand, you'd expect him to knock it off for a cold winner.
Love 40.
There's Newk's word. Come on, get out of it. Here we go. A little tension for the young player from Adelaide. He is just 18 years of age. Huge responsibility, playing as Australia's #1 player.
First serve.
Maybe a little rash. And again, Leighton Hewitt for the second time concedes his serve with a double fault. Gatton, no doubt, disappointed at putting in a poor game. Safin serving. 2-3 on serve. Fourth set, Australia leading 2-1.
Love 15.
Gives you an idea how much sting is on that second serve, that even the second serve, when it hits the top of the net, kicks off the net over the service line.
Love 30.
You know, both players, John, are struggling here when they miss their first serve. Their first serve percentages are respectively for Leighton Hewitt 50%, Marat Safin 43. When they get the first serve in, they're winning a lot of points, but when they miss their first serve, both players are struggling, and I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that when each player returns serve, he hits the first one deep and gets the server off balance. Generally, that wins them the point. And again, after a second serve, Safin losing the point. Although on that occasion, it really wasn't a difficult shot. It was just a bad miss, and he's in a hole again here at love 40.
15-40.
Temperature on centre court is 27 degrees in the shade, 29 on court.
30-40.
Two big first serves, though, and that's what he needs to do if he's to get out of these games, Marat Safin. If he has a chance to win this match, his first serve percentage must go up even higher.
First serve.
And there's the break.
Game Australia.
Without the free point there off the first serve,
Australia needs to
Safin
score
gave
the
Hewitt the opportunity to hit an aggressive return of serve, and it drew the error. And the negative body language has returned, John, to Marat Safin, although he's pulled that a fair bit during this match, and he always seems to come back mentally from it.
Three service breaks in a row.
And the match really is on Leighton Hewitt's racket now, isn't it? He has the opportunity to take this by the scruff of the neck now. He's failed a couple of times to capitalise after gaining a break. This is where he really needs to consolidate.
He held this lead in the third set, serving at 4-2.
Love 15.
Leighton a little unlucky there, the ball not coming off the centre of Safin's racket, and he got a better angle than what he'd played for. Love 15.
serve wide on the line. And for the first time in this match, his first serve percentage has creeped up above 50%.
The last 2 times it served, Safin has been broken. Beautifully structured point from Safin.
30 love.
Showing some composure, measuring the ball well and just hitting it for what it's worth and then moving in. Nice conservative volley just into the open court. Encouraging him to go for it at three-quarter court.
30-15.
Shoulder high forehand, really punished by Leighton Hewitt.
40-15.
And Leighton Hewitt's going to complain there. He wasn't ready. He really was quick served.
I think he felt the serve might have been long too, John. Just unsure about where it landed, but I think he'd do well here just to play the points out.
Game, Russia.
And really focus now because he has the opportunity to serve this match out. I think the encouraging thing is that the previous game was his best service game for probably an hour. So if he can reproduce that type of game, he should get over the line here.
First.
Get a real idea of how valuable the first point can be when you're serving for the match.
First. Second serve.
Tension creeping in.
Good second serve from Hewitt. And Jay, you're right, he is feeling the tension, no question. He's starting to grunt louder when he serves, Hewitt, but able to come through in this difficult moment. 30 love, 2 points away now from this match.
One more, big fella.
down. Well, I had a weird memory of Rod Laver then chasing a ball down in the 73 Davis Cup final from Tom Gorman and knocking off a winner in a similar type of situation. It was Laver's forehand, but Hewitt, they're doing everything possible to try to get that point. 30-15.
Surprise tactic from Hewitt, serve and volley, and it pays off. 2 match points for Leighton Hewitt.
40-15. Hugh, please.
Well, cool under fire, Safin, but
40-30.
what a strange way to win that point. Coming in with a high, swinging backhand, two-handed volley. It saves 1 match point.
Leighton Hewitt back deep in the court, taking some extra time, finding the composure that's necessary. Match point.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, for both teams, don't call out during the points. Thank you very much.
Some of the crowd just becoming a little bit unruly, and they don't realise it, that they're hurting their own man, shouting out just as Leighton was trying to play the forehand. It's back at juice. 2 match points saved by Marat Safin.
Please.
Real guts. The line was open, a more difficult shot, and he's made it. Match point for the 3rd time. Very tense at this stage. Juice.
Advantage Australia.
Match point for the 4th time for Australia.
And he can't buy a first serve, can he, when he really needs it?
Gee, what a backhand down the line. That was the tough one that really did catch Leighton Hewitt unawares. He did well to scramble it back, and this one hit perilously close to the line.
It certainly was.
Far closer than what Marat was planning, I'm sure. At juice, 4 match points saved by the Russian.
Please, quiet please. 6-3.
Just 18 years of age, Leighton Hewitt has again played his very, very best tennis in Davis Cup against the highest caliber of opposition. He started against Todd Martin in Boston against the Americans, and he devastated Todd Martin in the 4th and 5th sets. And today on home soil, the ANZ Stadium, he has got Australia off to a wonderful start against Safin, winning in 4 sets. And what extraordinary poise and composure and guts. He just fought right to the last ball and really deserved the win. Fitzio, it's just absolutely extraordinary. Leighton Hewitt has won over Safin 7-6, 6-2,